G'day, coming back at you with another block rock and beat. Now coming at you with a couple of news items today. So I wanted to talk about the Russian situation because I posted a video a couple of weeks ago talking about how the US was moving troops into Alexandroupolis in Greece, to the frustration of Turkey, and also it would have been to the disdain of Russia. So as a result of the troubles that have been going on over initially the border with Poland and Belarus, and since developed into Russia wanting NATO, giving NATO demands that they will not incorporate Ukraine into NATO, and also not build any further in East Ukraine. So this, I think his name is Jens Stoltenberg, the NATO head chief, has said it's not going to happen. They're not going to guarantee this in writing, and since then things have escalated a bit more as far as military build-up. Russia putting radar jamming equipment in the north, in the Arctic area, Antarctic, yeah, Arctic, South Pole, isn't it? Antarctic. Anyway, up near the North Pole, he blocked the North Sea route to stop trade between Europe and Asia. He also has now cut back the gas that's going to Europe to a record all-time low, just coming into winter. Now, a lot of people probably speculate, not a lot of people, I've got to be careful with my words, sometimes I generalise a bit much. It's been speculated that he's going to wait till the ground freezes over. This might happen a bit early, but he might do it earlier because Biden is still building up troops. Now, this is why I wanted to bring up Alexandroupolis, because we now know what troops were going in there from the US. There was 1,000 Abrams tanks and 3 lots of 35 to 45,000 brigades, so 3 brigades of that many, and this is just the beginning. And Putin has said if they enter the Ukraine, it's going to be trouble. Now they're headed through Greece up north into Bulgaria. Whether they'll go into Romania or into Ukraine is still to be seen. But moving that much equipment up there is just, it's not only that, there's the Russians have moved also subs have all been moved out into missions. There's a lot going on, a lot of troop movements, but that's all I'll say about the Russian situation, how Russian NATO situation. So just to get on to local news here, so Christmas has already been touted as a super spreader event. It's pretty easy to do that, you know, when you've got the G theory in force. And they're screwing people already around. There was a group of about 500 teenagers who were up in Byron Bay for schoolies. This event that happens on the Gold Coast where all the people who finish their final school year go to party on. And they've said in Byron Bay that there was a caravan where some people tested for the dreaded lurgy, and so all these kids who have been tested positive have been allowed to go home, and the rest who are close, you know, see contacts, have been kept in isolation and will be kept in isolation by themselves over the Christmas period. This is just the beginning. You watch what happens, man. I reckon they're gonna bring it down hard. The weather here today is not conducive to growing fruit and vegetable. I'm surprised we haven't had some serious hail. We've had huge winds, a lot of rain. There's going to be some flash flooding, I imagine. But anyway, back to the other news I wanted to deal with, the dreaded lurgy, the moronic dreaded lurgy. So just on that, I've linked the news article that I'm going to talk about the AdBlue crisis, the truckie crisis, because that's come up again today. But the guy who's speaking, Richard Wilkins, on the news article, look at his hand. I've seen him in other clips try and hold his hand from shaking. Now, surely he would have retired if he has Parkinson's beforehand, but perhaps it's come about because he's had a squirt. What do you reckon? It's all speculation, but... So the AdBlue crisis is, just to give you an idea, AdBlue is a chemical component that's added to diesel fuel to make it more biologically friendly. It basically changes nitrous something into nitrous oxide, and there's a byproduct of nitrogen as well. Anyway, it makes it healthier for the environment, and we get 80% of ours from China. Some we get from Japan, and 10% we make of our own. And the only facility we're making is closing in March 2022. And yet the guy who's talking about, the industry bloke talking about it to Richard Wilkins and the other woman who's doing the interview, says that the industry is growing. So there's all just contradiction every 5 seconds when you listen to the news. But anyway, they reckon we've only got five weeks supplies, and half of our trucking fleet rely on it. So they're talking about increased prices. The woman news reporter asked how it's going to impact Aussies, in stores and that, prices wise, and all the bloke talked about was how much AdBlue was going to go up, which was 6 times. So if that's going to go up 6 times, don't expect your food to go up any less than that, I imagine. So they're saying that there's going to be problems getting groceries on the shelf before Christmas. We'll see what happens. But we know that's all part of the whole getting everyone's dependent on the nanny state and the part of the Great Re and then ESET. So when they talked about finding alternative supply, the guy was so depressing listener who basically said not every reason under the sun. There I go generalising again, but he gave 2 reasons as to why it's probably not going to be a good idea. And one of them he embellished twice. He said that we could get iffy supplies from overseas, and then he was saying, and then there's the trade disputes with the truckies anyway about paying that after working through COVID, and not getting paid. And we know the unions are all in hand with the government, so they're all working it to make it a situation where it's chaos. So expect it. Over Christmas they keep indicating water, and look what we're going through here. It's just been raining all day, constantly wet, and it's supposed to be that way all next week, coming up to the birth of Tammuz. Nimrod. Anyway, that'll do for now.